Hello everybody and welcome to another video where we are in the new house for our first bookish video in the new place. Welcome to what will be the setup of a lifetime. We have the PC right here. We have a bookshelf in frame. It's a glorious day. This still needs to be organized. This is yet to be organized. It will be a lot more beautiful in coming days. I have some bookmarks up there. More books here. I have Pokemon cards everywhere. I have Slowpoke, my favorite little Pokemon. I've got Slowpoke plushie. I've got many things around. And today we are talking about what I read in February, which is exciting. I'm excited to do another video, one of these ones. Again, I'll be taking everything out of my amazing reading journal that my boyfriend got me. Because also, again, I read everything on Kindle, but there might be a couple physical books I'm going to be reading this coming March. We're getting ahead of ourselves. This is one of the best reading journals things I've ever had in my entire life. Keeps me very, very, very organized and I love it. So that's what we're going to be taking out of. Very happily, I can tell you all that I read every single day of February. Shockingly, read a fair few books as well, considering I was moving house, getting everything prepared. This has been a busy month for me. So I'm surprised I actually read as much as I did. And I'm finally now getting into that routine where finally very chill here. Also, wait, we need to do a little props as well. My boyfriend got me this reading chair the other day. 2 days ago, he got me this beautiful reading chair. So now I have a place to sit and talk to you guys because I actually had no clue where I was going to film these videos otherwise, so it's glorious. Now, I like getting straight into this sort of things. I don't want to beat around the bush. I don't want to tell you guys what I maybe thought, what I didn't think, so I'm going to get straight into it. This month, we actually had a fair few non-5-star books, which is okay. Because it doesn't mean the books were bad. I believe we read another 6 books this month, which is really, really good. Actually, again, I was moving and everything, and some of these books were significantly larger than the books that I read in the previous month. So I think I did pretty well. Actually, maybe I lied. No, I lied. All of them were shorter than most of them. Less pages read, but not as many novellas. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Again, also, every single book was also read on Kindle. I'm going to kind of skip it going, I read it on Kindle every month, because I read everything on Kindle. Besides, again, maybe there's something here that I'm reading this coming month that I'm going to tell you guys about. I'm very, very happy about myself because this month I did explore more authors than just Sarah Samuels. I do love Sarah Samuels. Girly. I think we all know my obsession with Sarah Samuels right now. I've got art of her book on the top of my wall that you guys can't see. But she's here, she's always here, she's always lurking, she's always around. This month I only read one of her books. I will definitely need to reread every single book next month, clearly, no. I explored then 6 different authors this month, actually many more authors than 6, and I'll tell you why once we get to the books. But I did not read a book by the same author this month, which is kind of nice. I like that I've explored a lot of different authors' writing styles and things like that. That's something that I've really been very appreciative about. I'll also say as well, every single book that I read, again, has been an advanced reader copy, which is insane, and I'm very eternally grateful to be able to get those things. Actually, I'm also getting a little PR thing today for my other side of myself, my gaming side. So that's also very exciting. I read around 2,150 pages, a little bit more than that technically, but goddamn, I'm very proud of myself for that. Again, the fact that I've been so busy this month, but I still managed to make time to read, enjoy my books, and kind of have a lot of me time with that. I feel like reading's a really good me time activity, so I'm very, very glad that I got to do that. I explored mostly, honestly, romance this month. I did, technically 4 romances. One was a drama / romance, 1 fiction that I didn't really know where it kind of slotted in, and 1 mainly just drama book. That's wild. That's pretty solid. Honestly, it has been kind of the month of love for me, I guess. A little February love. I got my beautiful snail mail. I read all the romance books. I went on cutesy little dates, even met my favorite YouTuber. Now I think that we should get into it. Let me tell you guys what I read this month. First of all, we have to start with Rise of the Shadow Lords by Sarah Samuels. The book came out this month. I was, again, like I've kind of mentioned in the previous January reading, I was very, very lucky. I beta read this book and then I got to advanced reader copy this book and it was perfect. It was around 600 pages. It was obviously the fiction book. I just kind of count that series as more fiction. It's got the romance aspects. It's got the really good plot, all that sort of stuff. Shockingly, yeah, I read it on Kindle And I read it. It took me 6 days to read it, from the 1st of the 2nd to the 7th of the 2nd. So 1st of February, 7th of February. And obviously I rated it a 5-star. This series has been a 5-star series. And that's not just me exaggerating it, not me trying to be like, let's give hype to Sarah Samuels. Sarah Samuels, the woman that you are, the books that you write, glorious, beautiful. I have cried, I've screamed. Not physically, I can't like actually scream, especially because like now I'm in like a nice group home, I can scream. Mentally screamed, you know. Next book that I read was the Sweet Treat Anthology, I think that's how you said it. And it was by various authors, a bunch of authors, like books that I did already read. What is it? I found out about this book, this anthology, from Alana Roberts, which I read her Collide book. I went to her book release party, which again was one of the most insane things in my entire life. I did not expect to be able to go to a book review party. No, that was insane. It was really fun. And again, something I'm very grateful for being able to attend. But I found out about her, and then that was like so many different authors, like little love stories. There were like so many different like versions of it. There were different like, it was kind of like different genders dating. It was like, there was like a time travel-y one that was like, there was so many different like little romance stories, and it was pretty good. I read it. It only took me like a day. I started it on the 6th during when I was reading Rise of the Shadow Lords, and I finished on the 7th. So I finished 2 books on the 7th, which again is insane. And I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, just because it's interesting when you have a bunch of authors kind of collaborate on something, especially like when they've got their own writing styles, because obviously you're not going to be, I guess, the biggest fan of every single writing style or every single story, but you still really liked it, and that was kind of me. There were some stories that I felt were like a little bit slower in my personal opinion. I'm obviously not going to name which stories because I think all the authors wrote amazing stories. At the end of the day, it was just, some of them weren't for me as much, some of them were for me as much. You get what I mean? I really liked it though. I thought it was I love when authors collaborate on things. The next book that I read was For Your Own Good by Alessandra Buckner. I have read a couple of her stories. Again, love it. It was around 400 pages. Oh, I never told you. Sweet Treat Anthology was around 300 pages. And it was I guess I kind of called it a drama romance sort of book. I was obviously read it on Kindle, and I read it in between the 8th of the 2nd and the 14th of the 2nd. And I rated it another good old 4 stars. I like Alessandra's writing. I've read a couple of her advanced reader copies in the past. Like, I mean, I kind of mentioned it to her as well, like, because I give certain authors like feedback sometimes, where sometimes like the pace felt very sped up, and then it was kind of like little jumps. But again, okay, some authors though manage to have such good plots that even when it is like a little bit sped up and stuff like that, you still are very locked into the story and you want to understand what's going on, so you focus on it so much more. And that was this book for me. I really liked it. I liked that there was like a little romance aspect, and Bensel also very tastefully wrote a high school romance. I feel like sometimes some authors write like romances that like just don't, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of like, I like tasteful romances when it comes around like high school people and stuff like that. I obviously smart for that age makes me sick. So I like knowing when like authors kind of write like a cutesy little, they're just like little kids in love sort of vibe. And then that's what this felt like. They were obviously like, you know, getting out of high school, stuff like that. One of her friends got married in it. But again, everything like was very tasteful in that sort of romance aspect, which obviously is something that I really appreciate. Like, love Alessandra's work. This is the 3rd book of hers that I've read, advanced reader copy, in the last like year now, and I've been very grateful every single time. The next book that I read was Found With You by Lindsay Harper, and it was around 350 pages, and a little romance book. I am very happy that I got to read this book. I read it from the 14th of the 2nd to the 23rd of the 2nd, and I rated it another good old 4 stars. I really liked this book. It was really cutesy. Like, I love me a little romance. I had this advanced read copy for a while. It was one of the ones that I tried to get a bit more, I guess, out of the way finally, because I've had time to read a lot more this year already. Again, I think I've read 14 books this coming time, which is insane. And this is only 12. That means 2 books in 4 days. Cutesy little romance. I wanted more romance, obviously, because it's the month of love. So I felt like it was very well done. And it was like a cutesy little city girl meets country boy, and then they have like their little moments. And obviously there's like a lot of personal stuff going on, so it's the vibe. The next book that I read was called Cafe Amour by Christine Lane. It was around 100 pages. It was the shortest book that I've read this month. It was a cute little romance. Again, I read it in the same day. I started it on the 24th. I finished it on the 24th. And I rated it and the little 4 stars. Again, cute little romance. There's not really much else to say there. I just like the cute little romances where they're just happy and in love and little things kind of have to start progressing. And then that was that one. I've recently signed up for Christine's sort of like novella arc team, I guess, like that. So you just kind of go through and keep reading them as Christine uploads them. And uploads, writes, edits, does every single thing that you need to do for a book, you know? As when Christine puts a new book out, I get it. And it's only like a cute little short one, so I really enjoy it and it was fun. I don't really know how much else to say about that one. It was really, really, really fun. And then the last book that I ended up reading in February was Scarlet Society, The Scarlet Curse by Annie French. It was around 400 pages and I'd say it was a bit more of a drama. I started it on the 25th and I finished it on the 26th because I've been reading another book for the last couple days. And I rated it only 3.5 stars, which is not a bad review. I don't think that's a bad review. When I put out the Immense Reader Copy review, I'm going to push it up to 4 stars because that's what you do, and it wasn't a bad book at all. I just don't think it was a book for me at the end of the day. I liked that there was sort of like, I liked the plot aspect of it. I felt like it had a lot of potential and it was really, really good. I just also felt like it was just a book that I could never fully lock into, I guess. I think that was probably the only, I guess, concern that I've had about it. I enjoyed it. I was very confused about vampires. If the main family was actually vampires or not. I don't know if I just kind of missed something and I might have accidentally skimmed over a part and didn't really know what was going on. And then, yeah, no, it was just me probably just being a little bit confused. And then I felt like they kind of went on about the same plot for a little bit too long. But, like, it's just probably not the book for me. If you do like, you know, like vampires, if you do like a little bit of like potentially for like, it's kind of like arranged marriage trope. There was like a little bit of that in there. It was very like, I just could see the potential and I definitely want to continue reading the rest of the series because I think that the plot definitely has a lot of potential and I want to see it through. And yeah, no, it was like, I liked the ending of it. The ending had like a good little cliffhanger. Now I'm thinking about the ending. I actually really did like the ending. It had a good like sort of flow into it and everything, and then yeah, it was just pretty good. It was pretty good. But yeah, no. So that's what I read in February. Now what am I going to be reading in March? I just finished reading a book yesterday, and now I'm up to the second book that I'm reading in March. I'm not going to tell you what I finished reading because that's going to happen next month, but I'll tell you what I'm going to start reading now, which is Megan K from Stardust. I don't know if you can see the Kindle at all. That's okay if you can't. But I've started reading this one, and then what else am I going to read? Let's have a little looky through the Kindle. I'm also going to be reading The Upper World by Erica Jean, and Between the Pages and the Rank by Meadow Thompson. Those are 2 advanced reader copies I've also been able to get my hands on. I'm also going to be finally reading the Death Trooper book that my boyfriend wants me to read really badly. I think he's quite happy about that. What do you think? I'm going to be, take a little book off the shelf here, reading a little fancy businessy book this month. I got this book for Christmas from my mum, and it is called Just Getting Started by Brittany Saunders. She's the girl who made Fate the Label, which is a clothing brand that I personally really like. And so I'm going to be reading this, getting into the business grind of life. I do want to like start presenting myself as a business. It's one of my goals and things like that. So read a little business book about it. I'm going to put her back there. I also want to read as well, if I end up being able to do it, another businessy book, The Aspiring Actor's Handbook, which again, I am a freelance actor. I'm trying to get into the whole freelance game of certain things. So I'm like, let's lock in. This is like kind of like my business and my Harry Potter shelf that I'm taking this from. Those are a couple that I'm going to be definitely dabbling in, but there's definitely a lot more books that I aim to read that I just don't know yet even. I'm also getting a lot of like advanced reader copies coming in and stuff like that. If they are shorter books, I try and read them a bit more of a priority if they're very short, and kind of while I'm reading other books, just to kind of, I've been saying kind of about 20,000 times ever since I started saying that sentence. But you guys know what I mean, I hope. If you guys want to follow along to anything I read, definitely check out my Bookstagram, Tam's Book Corner. And that's probably the main kind of stop for you guys to go if you guys want to see all my book content, see my really cutesy book photos that I'm definitely improving at and getting a lot better at. Yeah. if this is the sort of content that you guys like seeing more often, consider even maybe hitting the like and subscribe button. It helps you guys know when I'm about to upload a new video. It makes me know that you guys want to see more of this content and more of the vibes. Doors are slamming. Like, you should be slamming that subscribe button. But yeah, so if you guys like that sort of content, let me know, and I'll see you guys all next video, because that's the end of the video. I don't really know what else to say here. So yeah, I'll see you guys all next week for the next video, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Bye! Bye!